everybody, I'm back again, and today we are going to do this design full change from the old to new. So you will see everything from start to finish. So I'm pulling off my stones with a nipper that I got from the craft store. So it pops off. They are flying, those tips, so it's a little sad to see them go, but I had fun making them, but it was time to remove it. This was actually my old design from an old nail from my autumn nails, so you can go and check that out if you want. But you will see that my old design is popping through here. So these were really long, so I had a really high apex on them. So they were so long, so they needed a little bit more support, so they would not break. I'm using a 5-in-1 carbide bit, and it is a 5-way bit. It's a green abrasive, so it's really tough. I love it. I have my e-file on 20,000 rotations per minute actually, but if you keep on moving in long strokes and do not jump around with your file and keep control over your fingers and keep them steady, hold your e-file steady and your fingers steady, and this is the best tools you ever have. I have gotten so confident with using my e-file now that this is just like removing butter. When I have this speed and this coarse file, I absolutely love it. This is it's like night and day when you know how to use this e-file. So when I'm getting closer to my nail plate, I'm not going down completely to my nail plate, but I need to go fairly close because I'm going to use tips. So I'm going over with my white ceramic bit with a blue abrasive, and that is a medium abrasive, and it has more of a pointy tip, so I can get a little bit more down in the sides to remove the gel, colored gels and so on. I am not working on my natural nail. It is not a lot that has grown out because I had a little infill before I did the last design, so it's just a millimeter or two that is still left on my natural nail. So I'm just working mostly on gel and minding keep what was I going to say? Well, I'm pushing back the cuticles here because now I'm going to go over with my e-file and a thin flame bit, diamond bit. So I'm going to work on my skin and pushing back the cuticles. I'm going also with 20,000 rotation in a forward motion, that then I'm going from right to left first. You will see me working quite from the whole right to the left and so on, but I keep this, even though it looks kind of sharp, I have it as flat as I can to my nail plate, parallel to my nail plate. So, and I am really careful not to poke up underneath the matrix or open up the matrix, because that is not a good idea to do, because you can get bacteria under there, you can damage the matrix, and you should not do that. So I'm just mainly working on the gel, and here I'm going more, yeah, I still work on the gel, but you will see I'm pushing back more of the skin. I'm working on the skin, and here are some gel in the corner here that I needed to remove that had a little tiny bit of the lifting, so I'm digging in or around the lifting so it flicks away. So I am really careful not to go into my natural nail plate. E-file manicure is mostly to get rid of dead skin and to push back cuticles and lift up dead skin so you can remove the dead skin with the e-file. And now I have switched the rotation and going from left to right. Yes. And doing the same thing that I have done. I have a beautiful brush from BuilderGel. I just love that brush. It has so fine bristles. I really love to brush with it because I can have it between my fingers while I'm working with the e-file. So I'm just turning my hand upside down and brushing it. So I really love that. And when I get around here now, you will see that I actually work in the same direction, or I have my file in the same direction, but I will work in the opposite direction. So I you can see it here. Sorry. You can see that when I go back again, I really push back and lift up the dead white skin so I can remove it. I usually always remove it while I'm doing this with this same drill bit, but I was so you can see that it almost loosens there, so I could really easily got rid of it like I do in the corner of this nail here. But I really wanted to try the scissor this time. I have been putting that off for so long time because I have been a little bit afraid of the scissor, but I am not sure what I was thinking about, because using this brilliant, sharp and bent and long scissor, that was so easy. I had complete control of what was dead skin and not. I'm sorry about the angle, but this was the first time me doing this, so I needed to be really careful about what I saw. So yeah, bear with me, please. It was so satisfying to just cut this off in one piece. I love it. I'm going to do this from now on, I'm pretty sure. So it is no living tissue at all that I'm cutting. And here are the dead skin, and just brushing that away. And at last I'm going around with the red abrasive cone bit, and it has a little bit of point. I like that. I do not like the balls actually, because I like to go around, and if I find something in the corners and so on, I like to have a little bit of a point to go in. But I'm removing hangnails and smoothing, or potential hangnails, and just smoothing the skin and making everything nice. And also sometimes I work a little bit under the front of the nail or under the hyponychium, cleaning up a little bit because my hyponychium is growing so far out. But it's mostly just clean up. And then of course filing the tip of the nail so it is smooth. I'm using a kind of a 240 grit file. It's a dull 100-180 file. And then I go over just the plate on the nail plate, because I still actually have gel here, so it looks kind of abrasive. It is not my natural nail plate that I'm really going hard in and buffing. I am just going to smooth down the left of the gel that I have on my nails, and then I'm cleaning it up, and I actually think they look kind of clean and not damaged, so I think I did a pretty good job on these fingers. So over to my regular voice.
Hello everybody, we are back after the removal of my products. So as you can see, I am going to use E-Nail Couture's 1, 2, 3 Go gel tips. I have 2 different types of tips, but in 2 different lengths. Luckily last time I bought his press-on gel. This is the clear one. I did not buy the pink one because the clear is a little bit more versatile. And I'm going to use the prep and primer and the base, and I also have the top coat. And I was wondering about what kind of tips. I have done the coffin shape, and the coffin shape is brilliant for my nails because I have quite C-curved nails, especially these 3, especially these 2. So the coffin shape has a little bit more of a height or apex, so you can see that I have a little bit more room there, and it fits on the sides right away because you have a little bit more room. This is the same in the XXL stiletto, and this is the regular stiletto. This is the regular coffin. I also have the XXL coffin, but today I wanted to try the regular stiletto, not the XXL shape. So you can see, if you compare these 2 together, can you see that hump of that coffin shape? And when I put on the stiletto shape, you can see how much flatter, or much more flat that is. Do you see the difference now when I put it on my nail? And this is the flat nail. So when I put this on my C-curve nail, I have a problem. It bumps down all close to the nail, and if I go up in sizes, I will have wide, really wide shape. So that is also my problem when I'm working with dual forms, to find that right dual form with a deep well. But I kind of tried to file these stilettos into shape, so I'm going to try that today. I have sized up my tips. There is just one that I have not filed and prepped, so I'm going to show you how you do that. I do have a in-depth video on how you use these things, so if you want to check that out, you can do that. It's on the link in the corner here.
And now I am just filing away the numbers underneath of the tip and just buffing away the shine where my cuticle area is supposed to be, so it gets a little bit more grip, and sanitize and use the dehydrator and the primer, so I get a good adhesion. And the base coat, of course. You will see me uncure that before I put on the rest of the gel. You will see me, well, of course I'm getting to it, so I'm putting not that a lot of gel in the tip, but mostly on the middle and just little strokes on the sides, because it's not the sides that it is going to build out. So sadly I could not record the thumb because it was too hard for me to show you, so yeah, sorry, it got crooked anyway. But I'm just, it was really hard to show you how I cure this, because when I'm putting down these gels, I could not see what I was doing in the lamp, but and I also forgot to put down a primer and the base coat on this index finger. Uh, so I'm trying my best to cure this. And this finger I put the primer on, but I forgot the base coat. But the last two fingers I managed to put down the primer and the base coat, and on the last three fingers that I've done here I needed to squeeze in the tips in the sides because I had to go up in sizes because I had these C-curved nails, and since the tips are not that C-curved I had to really hold them tight, and when I cured them it was actually really hard to see when it was hardened, so I had to check, and then it loosened a little bit, and then I ended up with some small air bubbles on the sides of some of them, but they turned out quite okay, beside from some bubbles here and there. I'm not sure if you can see them. Actually I could see them quite clearly. And this finger did not fully cover the one side. You will see that later. So I'm just filing off the crookedness, and then I go around with this comb bit. I love this comb bit because I get down really into the side walls and get that really smooth transition between these tips and a natural nail, so they do not look that fake, if you know what I mean. These are tips, so you want them to be as natural looking as possible. So this is the perfect bit for it. And then I'm just buffing them with my buffer because I'm going to do a lot of design. I actually had over 8 hours of editing stuff to get down to a little over in half an hour, so I think I did pretty good. So now I just put some top coat underneath my thumb and put some maple leaves under there to cure that and soak them in, cure them in. Also get a little bit more strength because these tips are so tight against my natural nail plate that I really needed that extra support. But then I go over and going to use only Madam Glam's products here because that was in the October challenge. If you want to use only Madam Glam's color in hashtag MG Treats, you can go in and check that out, or on Madam Glam's pages on Instagram or Facebook. So yeah, I'm putting on maple leaves on top of the black again, and I made kind of a smoky effect like you probably saw. So then you get the maple leaves from underneath and on the top, so you get a really nice 3D effect. So here I'm using a regular BuilderGel just to get a extra nice apex on top of this, and a really nice apex in the middle here. But still this is quite flat. But it's okay, it has stayed on for over 2 weeks, so I had no problems with that. So now I'm just using Madam Glam's product. I start with a top coat that has a tacky layer first, because the next layer then I can use no white top coat and it sticks to the tacky layered top coat, if that made any sense for you. So this will also be encapsulated a little bit underneath there, and I'm using Madam Glam's primer because they have a new primer out. Now I'm using their jelly gels on these fingers, or what other name is it for the jelly gels? I'm not sure. these are clear, so I'm using a brownish one, a reddish one, and an orange one, and a yellow one. And I'm using the tacky gel, the tacky top coat, of course. Sorry, the tacky top coat on the tip. So I'm blending it with a thin brush. I'm just blending it together to make an ombre from dark to clear on this tip with the autumn colors. And cure in between the two layers that I made. And just go over again and make a more opaque layer. These are so much fun, these clear jelly colors to work with. I would love to done a ton of nails with it. I will use them a lot. I love having a lot of products so I can just pick it down from the shelf whatever I need. Different types of things. I love that. It actually really gets the creative juices to flow. So here I'm putting the maple leaves on top again and encapsulate that with Madam Glam's BuilderGel in a bottle. It's called Pure Serenety, and that is the clear BuilderGel from Madam Glam. I'm putting them down a tacky layer first, and then just wiping from side to side motion to make a thicker layer, and swiping off the sides so they do not get wide and thick. And then I'm just putting on a thin stripe in the middle to build up the nail so I get a little more apex in the middle of the nail, and then wipe off the side again. And here again I have put the black on the middle of the nail and the gel builder, the clear builder on the tip, and just use a liner brush and make kind of a smoke effect on this nail also, as I did on the thumb, and again with the maple leaves, and encapsulate it with the clear BuilderGel. So first with the tacky layer, wet layer, and then side to side with another layer or a bigger lump of gel, because then it just keeps its place in the tacky layer. And here I had to use the primer, or I used the primer, and then I just put on a thin layer of BuilderGel on both of these nails, because I was preparing them for further work, but I had to buff them again because I had to take a little break, so I had to buff them and take some primer over them again. So here I go in with Screaming Summer, beautiful, shiny, bright neon orange. I love this, I used it a lot. So I'm using this as my background color, and here when I put on the first layer here, I found out that this was a lot more crooked and had a gap in the front there that irritated the living daylight out of me, so I just had to fix it. You could see in the back there also, in the side wall. So I had to put on a form and pull out a sculpting gel and correct that nail in the back and on the tip. So I kind of managed to repair that nail a little bit. I would have gone crazy looking at it. So that is the downside of not sculpting right away. So after I had buffed them, I put on 2 layers of Screaming Summer, curing it, and then I go in with a peel off base coat from Gardner Green. I love love this not peel off paint coat, I mean liquid latex. I love this latex because it does not stick to the next finger, so I can put my fingers together and they do not stick. Because I always do that, so I love that about it. So here I have 3 different types of red colors from Madam Glam. The names will be in the description box and on the screen here. It's green here and cure in between layers of dabbing. This is a design that I have watched from a teacher at Nails Pro Academy. They also had what was it called? Kind of a thing in October. If you go on into Nails Pro Academy, they also had a hashtag. I will put that in the link down below. I cannot remember it right away, so I'm just building up the layers and getting darker and darker and ending up with a black, so it gets really dark and the depth comes out. Look at the mess around my fingers. And I think I used 5 hours to make those 2 nails here. But I love painting on nails. I really love it. So I'm using a 5 millimeter long brush and a 7 millimeter long nail art brush to make all this nail art. So I'm painting a tree, dark, crooked, creepy tree. Curing in between so I do not smudge it all. And then I'd stamp a little deer on the nail. It was not a perfect stamp, but that does not matter at all because I'm going to go over with gel, black gel. So I knew the outline of it, so I just painted that in all of it. So it was no big deal if you ruin a stamp. It's so easy to repair it with some gel. So curing in between. Then I go in and make some white blended with the orange, so I get some highlight and depth in these nails, so you can actually see what it is. And the tree will pop out a lot more, the deer will pop out a lot more, and that is things that you do not notice if you do not know that they are there. But I love things like that. I love to figure out the depth in a painting. The original painting was made with pumpkin heads on the grass under the trees, but I made a deer. I wanted a deer to stand underneath there in the dark, and then I had to put on some tiny stones also. And then it's just to go over with my top coat, white top coat. I did that also on my middle fingers, but I forgot to make some tiny dots, almost like snowflakes that falls in Norway in maybe one time in October and goes away in just a day and come back again in December. That is always an autumn sign in Norway. A little snow in October. So doing the top coat again on all the nails. Then I start to get finished. It is so lovely to see everything pops out, and especially the three-dimensional nails also. I really love the thumb. It came out really fun, and I really love to make these nails. It's just that the tips was a little bit hard for me to do, but otherwise I really loved it. So I will go back to blabbering a little bit again soon. So yeah, when I'm finished with this, you will hear me wrapping up this video.
So here they are, finally I'm finished. I'm not sure if you can see all the details. It is a lot. I will show you some pictures later so you can get some more in-depth view of my painting here. And yeah, I'm sorry this took quite a long time to do, but I actually really enjoyed this. The design, I can see now that this should have had a little bit more apex like this one, because this is my natural apex that is a little higher, but then again it points upwards. This one points out, but it lacks apex, so I'm not sure which one is the worst. I like the design, but I did not like I did not like the gel tips in a stiletto shape. That is not my shape. They do not fit me. Actually, I cannot get it to fit me. So coffin is the one that I need to use and going to use if I'm going to put on some nail really fast. So I guess that is it. You can see that this is quite thin. So thank you all so much for watching if you have pulled through this long video, and I hope to see you really soon. So then you have to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get updates when I have a new video out, and click on that like button if you like this design and what I do. If you do, I really appreciate it. So I guess that's it, everybody. Thank you, and bye bye for now. Bye bye.